3. Facebook's live, YouTube's live, and Twitch is live! Woohoo! First try!
Awesome.
Okay, so I got chat here. I got chat here. Where's the Facebook chat? That is the question. Oh, wait. I don't think the Facebook one's actually up. Because I didn't finish this part.
Whoops.
Whisper of the Heart. Go live. That's the confusing part, is everything else goes live immediately. This one, you actually have to go and do a bunch of extra stuff. Hey, 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 hey. And what's going on in Discord? Oh, nothing important. Well, important, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Josh in our Twitch channel asks, how many GGs will I rate this movie?
That's a good question, Josh. Very good.
Because as much as I like the Baron,
Yeah.
he's not.
I like the Baron.
I like the Baron much better in the next movie.
Yes, agreed.
In
well, in
he's
the
in.
next installment.
that he is in.
Yes.
Well, semi-series.
Yeah.
But anyway,
There needs to be more of those films. Let's just say that.
there won't be. But yes, there needs to be a TV show.
Yes, there does.
Or a book series. I'd take a book series or a manga.
Mm-hmm.
Something.
Come on, Ghibli. Show us the magic. Let's just do it. Just do it.
Create the Ghibli cinematic universe and just
Exactly.
combine everything.
Well, just give us more Baron. That's all we want. Just more
I
Baron.
would like more Baron, but he's
More
like
Baron.
he could be like the Doctor Who of the Ghibli verse.
Yeah. Pretty much. Pretty much.
Okay, so and then comments are going to show up over here when Facebook comments go. Great. Awesome sauce.
So when is this movie gonna drop?
When they're ready for it to drop.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll drop it like
Christmas.
a hot potato.
Mm-hmm.
The Adventures of Gigi and the Baron. Cats out of time.
Oh, don't make me. I could draw that so easy. I do have to say after watching The Cat Returns, which should be The Baron Returns, it's like, yeah, The Baron is probably the most kick butt statue cat I've ever seen.
Yeah, there's a reason.
He's not a cat, actually.
There's a reason. There are two reasons why The Cat Returns was released before Whispers of the Heart over here. One of them, the one that which will make the most sense to you,
Yes.
Country Roads.
True.
They had some issues with licensing the song for the American release.
Yes, I remember reading that.
Two, the Baron is a much better character in The Cat Returns than he is in this movie.
That is so true. And they're also voiced by
Both times, Carrie Elways.
Carrie Elwes.
And according to Carrie Elways, The Cat Returns was the prequel to this movie.
Yes.
At least that's how he interpreted it.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. So, hey everybody, we are going to get started
Very soon.
Yeah, this is Jacob,
This is Drew.
and we're the Cellcast. Well, the show's called the Cellcast, which is Jacob and Drew. But
This is Groot. This is Garfield. Stitch is over there.
apparently,
Darkwing. Goslin. Yoshi.
Voltron. Apparently,
Voltron's over here.
that's what I was.
Godzilla is over there.
Okay,
Along with, you can see Baby Yoda back there
I'm
too.
dyslexic. Let's just say that. But either way, we are doing. That's the wonder is having a screen in front of you.
Because you can now see everything I'm
What
doing.
you're doing without you looking over. But we will get started.
Oh, and
on
that
the
actually reminds me of something I need to make sure is up here. Oh, I have to load that every time?
Oh no!
That's gonna be a pain.
Well, does it take long?
Just won't add as much. But that's good to know.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, it is here. It's just
You have to select it.
It's just down. It's all down here.
Oh.
It just added in all the default stuff, so we can still. Oh, I actually got to hit the live button on that. So now they can hear it out there. And but I do need to add one of the other Patreon ad posts things.
So we will get started very shortly with Studio Ghibli's Whisper of the Heart. If you have not seen it yet,
you at least know the song.
Yeah, you know the song "Leads from the Country Road, Take Me Home," which it plays a lot of this song. It's got a lot of interesting history behind it. So if you have not watched it yet, it's available on HBO Max if you're subscribed to that. And if you have watched it, or if you have watched it, please comment down below where you're streaming us, where you're viewing us, and let us know what you think of this film so we can get a conversation started. And there again, input is always good. It's always fun, it's entertaining, and sometimes it just brings a little chuckle. So yeah, we will get started shortly.
Very shortly.
Very shortly. Drew's doing a little more technical stuff.
Minor
technical stuff. There again, be like, for most people who know me, I'm very dyslexic, very ADD. So I think I'm pointing to Drew, but for some reason I want to point this direction. But no, that's the camera flipped and me viewing on. I know Drew's very confused this second.
No, I'm thinking.
Oh, you're thinking. Well,
I'm trying to think what something's called.
Oh, okay.
So I can find it.
So yeah, we will be reviewing Studio Ghibli's A Whisper of the Heart within a couple of minutes. Let Drew get his stuff done, and we will start on this very shortly.
Really? That's weird.
Really? That I yawned?
No. You do that all the time.
Yes, I do. By the way, we're recording this strictly on Riverside?
Yes.
Okay.
Why do you ask?
No, I was just curious. But like, the hypothetical that if, possibly Riverside crashed, you could also pull it off.
A worst case scenario, I can pull it off Facebook because Facebook saves everything also.
True. Very true.
It just won't sound as nice.
Right. All right, so yeah.
Download.
We will get started very shortly. And yeah,
well,
what is an interesting animated show, movie that you've watched recently that you would like to talk to us about? And maybe a movie or a TV series you may want to recommend that we might review in the future. Because we're open to ideas.
Sorry.
Oh, I got
that was not a comment
on
you. I was making sure I knew where my buttons were.
I'm being censored. This is unfair.
Okay. Josh says, Jacob, language.
Blah, blah, blah.
Do that again.
Yay!
That's fun.
Yes, it is.
Closing all these extra windows. YouTube and Facebook are quiet tonight, it looks like.
For the moment.
Yeah, for the moment. Give people time to show up.
Exactly. Yeah, I love how every...
Oh, I got to mute
what is
my
it, like
phone.
every month and a half, every 2 months, Facebook updates? And it's like, okay,
and they can't leave well enough alone.
Exactly.
Okay. And, mm, mm, mm. Docs. Whisper of the Heart. And good. Everything is updated. So
So every time I hear Whispers of the Heart, I actually, in my mind, I hear Whispers in the Dark by the band Skillet. Kind of a weird.
see, I keep thinking of Total Eclipse of the Heart.
Okay, fair.
But anyway. Nothing I can say, a total eclipse of the heart. Which the first time I heard that song,
Mm-hmm.
it was a Christian thing that Teen Mania was doing, and they used that song during a very uh essentially the go to Jesus moment.
That's what I was thinking. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
But it's just like, okay, you're using that song.
And that was the first time I heard it. The fact that so I didn't know it was actually a song that was I didn't know where they were pulling the music from.
Mm-hmm.
So now every time I hear that part, I can just see some guy dressed up as Jesus getting his hands nailed to a cross. And that's not what that song is about.
No, it's not. Ay, ay, ay.
Turn around.
I am just looking to see if there's any like additional news. You might have news and I don't know it.
I don't have news.
Okay, good.
Not cartoon news, anyway. Only news I got is that the expansion for 14 got delayed.
Mm. Poor gamers.
No, poor me. I don't care about the rest of the gamers. Most of the rest of the gamers don't care about this game either. It's just the people who the 23 million people who play this game worldwide
Right.
are having to wait an extra 2 weeks, which I appreciate them doing the extra work, getting the QA in, because the guy was trying to get it out and he just could not get it done and still have QA done in those 2 weeks because there's so much being put into the game. And heck, the guy was broke up about it. So he cried during the stream.
Wow.
Which kind of tells you the property's in good hands.
Exactly.
Because he didn't want to disappoint anybody.
All right, so I am done with notes.
You're done with notes?
I am done with notes.
Do you got a pun?
Yes, I do. Do you have a pun?
Perhaps.
Perhaps.
I think I've got one.
Okay. All right.
By the way, Groot is our personal lo-fi hip-hop girl. Except he's not a girl.
No, he's...
Maybe that helps.
Okay, so after watching this film, and having no idea what that character was, it was like, oh, okay, that's where they pulled that from.
Okay, so I did not see this movie. I can tell this off stream because no one's off the podcast because it's not that important. I didn't watch this movie till like last year.
Okay.
Okay, but before that, I had people suggest the lo-fi hip hop beats so you can study to YouTube channel for music to play in the background while you're working.
Okay.
I didn't get into it because I don't like lo-fi or hip hop because I just don't.
Right.
Fair enough.
Each their own.
Right. But I remembered seeing this picture all the time of the girl studying with the headphones on. As like, and so then I remembered it changed, but I didn't remember it changing, if that makes any sense. Until I go and put this in, all of a sudden they get to the shot they took the GIF from, and I'm going, I know that. I know what that is. And then I had to Google to find out if that's what it still was. It's like, oh, nope, they had to change it. Makes sense. Legal issues. Silly legal issues. Anyway. I'll return Groot to his regularly scheduled appearance.
regular scheduled turn.
Facing. Anyway,
Either way. That's
You ready?
Shared, that's shared. Get. All right. So yeah, let's do this thing.
okay. Starting in cartoons, the animated frontier. These are the voyages of the Cellcast podcast. Its continuing mission to explore strange new cartoons, to seek out new animation styles and new creative storytelling methods, to boldly go where so few ever go again. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Cellcast. Joining me today is a man who he's found his tunes that he can study to, and it has something to do with a country road. Welcome, Jacob.
Well, just take me home then.
Maybe.
Maybe. Why? Thank you.
Hang on.
Yeah. I know, just way out of context. It's like, whoa, wait a minute.
Somebody had better
Yeah,
clip that.
please.
Come on, Josh, clip that moment.
Clip it.
If you don't,
it.
I will go back and find
Clip
it.
it good. Be like, it fit, but I was like, wait a minute, that sounds really weird. Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Oh my word.
Hey, you set it up.
I know. Anyway,
Maybe take her home?
that's not what I was referring to needing the clip for.
No,
I
know
meant it was
that.
our
Oh, that. I was thinking like, oh, okay, clip that. Or I was thinking the other part. And I was like, oh, yeah, let's not do that.
Anyway,
Okay. Why, thank you. Let me introduce our co-host. A man who, and let me get my notes up for 1 second. A man who just wants to read and play video games. Welcome, Drew.
there weren't any video games happening in this movie.
Well, you do like to read.
I do like to read, but there weren't no video. Well, I do enjoy fantasy, and there were plenty of fantasy fairy tale stuff in this.
Agreed.
So yeah, we'll go with that.
That'll work.
I'm fairly certain I played a game in the environment the Baron was in this movie.
There's probably a few games
It's
inspired by that or something.
very much so.
Yeah.
How are you doing, Jacob?
Man, I'm doing fairly well. It's kind of get used to not adjusting glasses on. I decided to wear contacts tonight, so do something different. Doing pretty good. Work is work, and praying, and hopefully they can hire more people because that gets really aggravating really fast.
Right.
Like anybody knows nowadays that how our country is and our world is right now. So yeah, if you're looking for a job,
Go work at Berkshire Brothers. Jacob needs help,
right.
and especially if you're in the Jacksonville area.
Yeah, or East Texas area either way. So either way.
Also, everyone needs to go out and get a job if they don't have
Yeah,
one.
exactly.
You're making it harder on us who are working.
Yeah. Plus, tankers are stuck in ports and can't get them to move. because- yeah, just those fun little things where everything keeps going up because they won't move things because of COVID. And there again, COVID is a real thing. It's not fake.
We never
all,
said it was fake.
Yeah, we all know that, but some people believe that. So I just want to make that clear. COVID is real. So, but we're not getting, anybody's going to take us off the air because we're saying something we're not.
Okay.
All right. So, with that out of the way,
Not that this was a COVID cast in any
no,
way,
it's
shape,
not a
or
COVID
form.
cast at all. We're not giving you information about COVID. Either way, we're going straight out the bow of the ship into the depths of the ocean with this.
You've gotten off kilt. I can
Yeah,
already tell.
Apparently, yes. I thought I got prepped for this, but apparently my ADD had different plans.
it helps when you're be able to watch yourself on the screen all the time.
Exactly. That makes it a little more difficult. So either way, yeah, I'm doing very well. How about you, Drew?
I'm doing all right. It's been a interesting little week. And of course, I got the bad news last weekend that Final Fantasy 14 got delayed. But other than that, I'm fine. But I've had a pretty decent week.
That's good.
Nothing too crazy happened.
Yeah.
So, what have you been watching?
What have I been watching? All right. So what I've been watching. All right. So I finished MacGyver season 2, the original series from the 1980s. The series in which I love, grew up watching, and that's why I carry around a Swiss Army knife with me
Mm-hmm.
because it's useful in every situation.
Right.
So then, so as most of our listeners know, we were doing Tangled the series, or Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure, and
And those episodes will be coming back out again soon.
yes,
Because I have time.
Oh, excellent. So just curious, the episodes that have dropped so far.
All of season 1. We have not started season 2 drops yet.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, 'cause
Technically, all of Tangled the series is out. We have not started Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure yet.
yeah, we haven't started that yet. What's technically apparently it was still Tangled Adventure until about midpoint of season 2, and then it became Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure.
No, it's it's yeah. It's Tangled the series just in season 1, and then starting with season 2, it's Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
At least with the opening sequence.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. That is so true. Either way or. So as most of you know, it took us like a year to go through Tangled and get. Well, it was partially my fault because it took me that much time to edit because I have a very bad case.
Well, and we had this idea.
Yeah, we had this idea.
There was an idea, to
Yeah.
quote Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
But it's not the Avengers Initiative.
No.
The idea was we would do this we'd be editing these TV shows. We'd be commenting
Mm-hmm.
on the TV shows, and it was your idea,
Mm-hmm.
and you brought up Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure, or Tangled the series. I don't remember how you told me. I said, well, after seeing that clip,
Yes.
I kind of am curious.
Yes.
And then in the process, we did the season 1 of Lower Decks,
Mm-hmm.
and then immediately after that, we went into Thundercats 2011,
Mm-hmm.
and we planned it. I even all through January of this year, I released 5 episodes a week so that we'd be done with Thundercats, so that we'd be able to jump straight into Tangled the series.
Yes.
And then, and all this time we were recording, except we had
Yes.
taken a break when we finished season 1, and we're trying to get back into season 2.
Yes.
And because I was worried when we were all setting this up how I would have time to edit.
Mm-hmm.
Come to find out, those episodes are a lot easier to edit than a normal episode.
Right.
But that's beside the point. Now we're like 2/3 of a season behind on getting caught up.
Yeah.
And apparently I have some procrastination issues.
Don't we all?
So we're in another gap until we get caught up on releasing season 2, which I'm going to get started on it this week.
Yeah.
After I get something else edited
Right.
that I need to get sent off to someone else on the Culture Box Media Network.
Good. So with all that said, because when we recorded season 2 of Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure,
Mhm.
aka Tangled the series, we got
AKA whatever you want to call it.
aka whatever you want to call this series at one point. Thank you, Disney, for changing names. So we record about halfway through season 2,
Mm-hmm.
and then the brakes got pumped on that because different things came up, and that's
I was
normal.
feeling overwhelmed.
Yeah, which is
And I need to go back to being whelmed.
that is perfectly
Except
understandable.
whelmed isn't a word.
No,
But anyway.
it's not a word. But so we stopped, and me wanting to finish at least season 2, finish season 2.
Mm-hmm.
So this week, or what was it? It was early last week. It was early. No, it was. I started Friday, and then I finished yesterday, I think, or the day before. Um, so I finally finished watching season 2 of Tangled or
Mm-hmm.
Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure, and wow, just saying, just watching every because there again, the internet spoils you on so much,
Yeah.
on a lot. So watching all of season 2 in its entirety is like whoa, incredible. Be like, so if you have not watched Tangled the series or Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure, please go check that out. And then I get into season 3, and to be
Mm-hmm.
bluntly honest, I'm watching the first episode of season 3, so it gives you more backstory to what happened at the very end of season 2,
Right.
and
Something
that
about blue hair.
something about blue hair. There again,
Because
if
I've
you
seen
have
those
watched
pictures.
if you have watched the series, please do not put spoilers in the commentary where you're posting.
Because just in doing my little bit of research I've done for the show, when I've
Mhm.
been bringing up trivia and such,
Yes,
I'll
the blue hair comes
routinely
up.
see, oh, blue hair.
Yeah, exactly.
I wonder what that could be about.
Yeah,
Because I can't actually put two and two together.
yeah. I'm
Which
pretty
is
sure.
why I'm not mentioning who has the
Exactly.
blue hair.
Yes, exactly. But it's really interesting why this person
I'm
has
sure
blue hair.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it has something to do with that scene.
Probably.
But that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. So yeah, that episode 1, season 3 broke me. I'm sitting there before work and I'm just choking up because there's a certain song that we've already finished with recording. I think it's in the middle of season 2. Middle of season
Mhm.
2. It's Rapunzel in the Dark Tree.
Yeah.
Yes. The certain song Waiting in the Wings.
Decay.
Yeah.
Wrong one.
Yeah.
I went to the,
No,
the
no, no,
enchantment.
not that song. That song's also in episode. I think in episode.
All of a sudden, my
two.
hair turns black, my eyes go black, and everything
And I'm running
starts
for
to
the
die.
door as best as I can before I get sucked in. Before I succumb to the asthmata. What's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know.
Before before I succumb to becoming choked by death.
Asthma is the word you're trying to say, maybe.
Something like that.
Asthmatic?
No, not asthmatic.
That's the closest I can come up with what you actually
The-
got
as,
out.
as the mist or something like that. That's the word I was trying to look for. But either or.
Anywho.
Anyways, so yes, if you've watched Tangled or Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure, you've watched season 2 completely. You've watched the first half
Mhm.
of season 3. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Meanwhile, I'm back here thinking, I'm probably going to have to watch all these episodes again to get caught back up because I'm not going to remember what's going on.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Although
And
I
then
think
it
I can
goes-
skip going back through season 1 again.
And then they skip to, oh my gosh, we got to go do this. What? It's like, don't get
which-
me wrong, this is
which
a really
means
good
I-
series.
Which means I get to be reintroduced to those stupid little island dudes that annoyed me so much.
I haven't got there yet.
No, this was season 2.
Oh yeah, that's right. Ow,
I'm going back
yes.
through season 2 and I got to go back to the island dudes. It's like,
Sorry. But yes,
there's
it'd be
some
like-
spoilers for upcoming content.
Yes. It doesn't give really any context what's really going on, but
Josh is suggesting the word you were looking for earlier was miasma.
miasma. Thank you, Josh. Thank you so much. I am so scatterbrained today. It's not even funny. So yes, that is what I've been watching. Tangled the series or Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure season 3, which is really good, and I would recommend to anybody who's ever watched Tangled because Tangled is better than Frozen. Fight me on it.
Who would?
Yeah, who would? It's a really good. It's a good movie.
Some
It's-
4-year-old?
maybe.
I mean, most adults would probably say you're correct just so they don't have to hear Let It Go again.
That is true. They just can't hold it back anymore.
Who
So-
can?
Yeah, exactly. So Tangled's better. So yes, I got around to watching that. I got to watch it. It's really good. Highly recommend it. And then while I'm watching Whispers of the Heart, finishing watching this movie, and it's like, okay, I remember Drew talking about how The Cat Returns is a prequel, and I'm like,
Well,
okay, I've got
hang on, because you act. I'm gonna have.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, because you just gave away the answer to the trivia question.
Oh, I did. Ooh, not good. Oh,
Go ahead. I will jump do the trivia question when you get done with your part.
All right. So,
Because I did mention I would read people's names who got it right, which means I need to bring those up. Go ahead.
yeah. So I text Drew. It's like, dude, can I borrow the Cat Returns? Because I knew he had it.
I was in the middle of the stream. Josh can back me up on that.
Mhm. So I texted me like, hey, can I borrow the movie? He's like, sure, middle of a stream. So I come on over, grab the movie. It's nearly 9 o'clock at night. So I pop the movie in. And it's just like, oh my gosh, yes. I'd be like, this movie is amazing. If you have not watched The Cat Returns, which I think it should be called The Baron Returns because it makes more sense. It's just an amazing film. Be like, these two movies are night and day. Night and day. It's so good. So yeah, that is all I've been watching.
Well, since you did bring up the trivia question,
Yes.
our trivia question this week was, what character from Whispers of the Heart goes on to star in another Studio Ghibli film? We had 3 people answer. In order of correctness, because some people were not specific.
Oh.
Dallas of Geek Devotions just says the cat. That's only 1 point.
That's 1 point. Yeah, pretty much.
David Gardner of the enthusiast. I can't even say this guy's name. The enthusiast. It's enthusiast and theist.
Oh,
one
okay.
word.
Well,
So
never mind.
Enthusiast.
Enthusiast.
Anyway,
That's an interesting thing.
he says the Baron. I'll give that 5 points.
Yeah.
But at 10 points, Josh Adams says Baron Humbert von Gekeken, which is essentially the guy's name, comes back in The Cat Returns. He says at the time he hadn't seen it yet, but could tell that was probably the case from the title cards on HBO Max.
Now, the question would be, Josh, that's okay. You got the answer correct, but you have to Google it in order to figure out how to spell it.
I hope so, because I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't even know if he spelled it right. I'm
I
being
think it's
nice
right.
about that.
Yeah,
But
yeah, congratulations, guys. Be like, to whatever level of points you got, that's awesome, guys. Thank
yeah,
you so much.
I might keep up with that. You never know.
That's a really
There
good
may not be
point.
prizes, but I might keep up with that.
Yeah, it sounds like I feel like it's a lot of fun. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for putting in your answers, and Drew over here might continue doing that. That's a really good
I'm actually looking up a one right now for our next movie.
So yeah,
So give me just a moment.
not a problem. Not a problem. So, oh my gosh, it's like seriously, guys. The end of season 2 of Tangled, or Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure, is jaw dropping, quite literally. And
I know.
so interesting story along that. So I'm going to lunch. I've got Tangled on the brain, like you do when you watch the series. So a friend of mine at work named Julia, she's manning the office, and it's like, have you watched Tangled or Disney's Tangled? It's like, yeah, of course. It's like, there's a series. It's like, no, I don't know there's a series. It's okay. So I pull up the Moonstone incantation for her. She's never seen anything on this, and it's like, well, it's okay. Let me show. It's okay. Rapunzel's song, flower gleaming glow, let your power shine. It's like, yeah. It's like, well, watch this. And so I wish I had a camera that to watch her expression on this. So it's like, and so it plays, and it's Rapunzel saying the incantation for the Moonstone, and she's like, "That's interesting." And when she starts saying it, be like the first time nothing happens, and when she says it again, everything starts going black and starts dying. She's like, "Oh, this is not good." She's literally her jaw is slack. And so when you finally get the chill bumps of Mandy Moore singing this part of Wither and Decay, it's literally her jaw hits the table with, it's like, oh my gosh. I was like, I've got to watch this. Like, thank you, no problem. And it's like, yep, that's basically the series. And so, yes, Like it'd be great if her and her family watched it. I don't know if her boys would like it or not, but it's got a lot of adventure. It's a fun series. There again, go watch it if you have not watched it. Because Disney did this series so wrong. Be like there's supposed to be a variant spin-off show.
You know, a lot of this is getting cut, right?
Yep. Okay. But either way, I'm saying it.
I know. Either way, I finally got the trivia question.
Oh, that's good.
So you can quit vamping now.
Or promoting. I'm actually promoting.
I know. Anyway.
Anyway. How rude.
So now our trivia question for this week is, who wrote the English language version of Princess Mononoke? Look for the post that this trivia is going to be in the Facebook page with this same question on it and answer there. And of course, if you get it right, we will read it on the next episode.
So good luck.
And I'm about to hit the post button right
Hit the button.
now.
Hit the button.
It's posting.
Good.
So go take a look for that.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to things.
So what things are there?
Well, things such as, say, news.
News.
No,
Okay.
wait, I haven't said what I've been watching.
No, you haven't. So get back.
We
to
got off on a tangent.
Of course.
What's
else
new?
Pussycat.
Anyway.
Whoa. There's a cat. There's cats in this movie. It makes sense.
Anyway, I saw a movie over the weekend,
Really?
last Friday. A certain 27th film in its series?
27th. Well, what?
Say the second film, the third film of the phase 4 of this franchise.
Oh, you're referring to Eternals?
Yes,
Oh.
I saw Eternals,
Ah.
and it is a fairly decent movie. It is a little more darker, I'd say, than some of the other MCU offerings so far.
Okay.
But it really opened up a lot about certain aspects of the MCU lore that they hadn't had a chance to go into too much yet.
Okay.
But they've brought up, of course, once or twice before, namely Celestials. Both times in a Guardians of the Galaxy movie, now that I think about it.
True.
But anyway, so I saw that. That was good. Other than that, I haven't had a chance to watch much of anything. And playing wise, outside of the Monday night stream of Dragon Quest XI, Echoes of an Elusive Age, Definitive Edition, S. I think that's the entire title.
SX/2. What is this, a Kingdom Hearts game?
Maybe.
Just kidding.
Same right company, wrong franchise. I've also been playing another Square Enix game.
I hear. I see a theme here.
I like Square Enix titles.
Apparently.
It comes up a lot. They get a lot of my money. But this one, they get my money monthly. Because it's Final Fantasy XIV.
Ah, okay.
I've been playing more of that. I have been playing Black Mage because I wanted to level a Black Mage. I'm making my way through that. I was in a hurry to try and get some stuff done before the expansion was coming out, which was originally 2 weeks from this Thursday. That is no longer the case because Friday, while I'm watching Eternals, there was a what do you call that? A stream.
Oh, okay.
Stream of them, and they because they're giving out more and more news slowly and surely as they get closer.
Yeah.
And it started off with, the game's delayed for quality assurance reasons. And it's like, I'm happy, but at the same time, that's the weekend you put it on is a very busy weekend for me. I might get some play in, but I don't know. But other than that, it's been just kind of a normal week. I haven't had a chance to watch a whole lot extra. I do have some stuff I need to watch.
Okay. Same here.
But I will work on that this coming week.
Ah.
So, what do we have in the news?
All right, so just a little bit of news. All right, so Netflix has dropped the official trailer for the key art for the upcoming original animated feature Back to the Outback. It's fresh from the security office of the Australian Wildlife Reserve. The spot offers the last known footage of basically the new trailer came out for Back to the Outback. If you don't know about that trailer, go look it up. It's kind of funny.
I know nothing about it.
Okay, go check it out if you have the chance. That'll be coming out December 10th on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
It looks fun, so might review it, possibly,
Maybe.
maybe. You never know. All right, so maybe I actually might be able to review it at my own home by that point.
Amazingly, yes.
Maybe, just possibly. That might be a miracle of the Lord. All right,
Can
so
you still watch a lot of that on a PS3?
that is true. That is so true. I do own a PS3. All right.
I'm just saying you might have to find something else to hook up. Anyway, continue.
All right. So
I just thought of that as the thing. I apologize.
it's all good. So the new trailer for Universal Pictures Sing 2 came out, and it is jam-packed full of recognizable actors and actresses who are known for singing and others who are not.
And many of them returning from the first movie.
Exactly.
Did it say when that's coming out?
They described it. It's coming out in this. There's a preview coming out later this year, later this month in November, and that's like a sneak peek. Sneak peek if you want to get the purchase tickets for a preview of the film, and it's not saying when, but it's saying Christmas as its release date. That
Okay.
as far as I understand.
December 22nd.
Thank you. Close enough.
Yeah, we won't get Sing 1 in before then, but
No.
because we have a packed December and January.
Yes, we do. So more on
More on that later.
yeah. I wanted to say something about that, but I'm not going to at this moment. It's gonna be prodigious,
Perhaps.
maybe, just maybe. All right, so that's all I have in the news.
Well, then we need to get into our spoiler-free section of our review of Whispers of the Heart.
Yes,
I don't know, it just seemed to make sense.
it does.
This is actually my second viewing of the film.
Okay.
I first saw it about a year ago when I was visiting some friends of mine up in Commerce who listen to the show from time to time. Hey, Joseph, how's it going?
Thank you.
And yes, but I gotta think first. I am gonna die. I'm
Or at
going
least
to
his
get.
friends are gonna kill him.
I am going to get killed because my brain just farted.
Don't you love that? It'll be like you get that moment. It's like, oh yeah, my best friends who I've known for years, so and what's his name again?
I feel so horrible because I can't remember his wife's name.
Oh! You just lost friend points, bro.
Yeah, and that's why this part will definitely get edited, and hopefully they'll never watch the live version. Oh, but I'll admit it, so I won't get in too much trouble.
Right,
I'll still get in trouble, but
I can't believe you forgot my name, Drew.
I'm so horrible. I'm so horrible.
And he's looking everywhere for this name. To whoever she is, she sounds like a wonderful lady.
She is a wonderful lady.
Yes.
I just can't believe I can't remember her name.
Oh, believe me. No, okay, so the
Mutual. I need to get mutual friends. Jesse.
Jesse. Oh, of course it is Jesse.
Jesse, if you're listening right now, I'm sorry
Where's the
that I just blanked on your name. And Joseph, if you're listening, I'm sorry I blanked on her name. I will not live this down because
No, we won't.
James will probably listen to this too
He will and tell them.
and tell them it's like.
Did you hear what Drew said?
Anyway.
Or forgot? Anyways.
Backing up.
Yeah.
So I first saw this 2 years ago when I was visiting a friend of mine and his wife, Joseph and Jesse, and up in Commerce.
Yeah.
And I had actually gotten this and Cat Returns on like the same weekend, and I I posted to him and says, "Hey, I got these two movies. Y'all want to see one of them?" And Jesse had already seen Cat Returns. So she said, "Well, I hadn't seen Whispers of the Heart yet." And I said, "Okay, we can watch that." So we watched it. And it wasn't what I expected the movie to be because I had heard of The Cat Returns. I had not heard of Whispers of the Heart, but I knew the cat from the other one that I'd seen clips from and saw that it was an action, high-flying adventure was in this one. So I naturally assumed that this had more to do with that.
Nope.
If that is your thoughts, I'm going to go ahead and break your heart right now. Yes, the cat, the Baron is in this movie. He is not the main character in any way, shape, or form.
He's mentioned a lot.
He's mentioned a lot. And at least a form of him comes up a lot in the movie, but when you get right down to it, John Denver's Country Roads has more to do with makes more appearances in this movie than the Baron does.
Very true.
But I did. In fact, if you look, I really do feel that the cover of this book is false advertising because it makes you think, we're going to be going to another world. There's going to be adventures. And it's like, no, this is going to take place in 1990s Japan. Okay. That's not to say the scene does not come from the movie.
Right.
But it's not as much of a deal as I would have hoped. That being said, I enjoy this movie. It is kind of a love story.
Yes.
And I think it's good enough that you can show it to... I think it's clean enough you can show it to kids. Josh, what are you doing to me?
Oh, no. What is he
Find out when we get to the thing.
Oh. Okay.
But I mean, I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was good. It's a nice love story. It's unfortunately the only movie that Studio Ghibli has with this director, and I that is a sad thing. But anyway, it's a good movie. I enjoyed it, and I think kids can watch it. What are your spoiler-free thoughts?
There again, this is my first time viewing this film. Ever since Drew's introduction, I almost called you David for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh, good. I'm not the only one screwing up tonight.
So Drew be like, with his. So this is my first time watching the film. Drew obviously was his inspiration to do the month of November Studio Ghibli month. And it's like, okay, great. So I've watched a lot of really, really great films.
And some films you didn't like.
Oh, yeah. Just go back to watch the first year in Grave of Fireflies. You hear me rant for like 15 minutes.
Or my rant during Ocean Waves.
Exactly. They're both good. Well, his is better. Let's just say that.
Only because, well, we won't get into that.
Yeah, either way. Go
We've had this discussion.
Yeah, go listen to those. So, so I've watched some really good films, some not so good films. But Whispers of the Heart was really good. It was a really good story about teenage love, and there again, the cover does not. It is more false advertising, and the Baron in question, the cat, is in the film and animation form. He's actually a character instead of a statue. He's in maybe like 3 minutes of footage.
I think it's closer to 10.
Oh, okay.
Cary Elwes did not do a whole lot in this movie.
No, he didn't. So I'm kind of in that same sympathy as Drew, which is more false advertising. That there again, we're going to go into this fantasy world,
but more on that in a minute.
Yeah, but in truth, it's more of a love story between preteens.
Yes,
preteens and middle school, and Their struggle with social life and wanting to be in love and
Mm-hmm.
all this stuff.
Coming of
Coming of
age.
age story. Good call on that one. Uh, and overall, it's a good story. It's long. It feels like a very long, drawn out story, which good long storytelling format
Mm-hmm.
is good. And there are good elements within this film. It's not exactly my cup of tea as a story. But like as a movie, story wise, it's really well done. Just not exactly my cup of tea. Family friendly, absolutely. There's nothing wrong with the film, and so yeah, definitely family friendly.
All right. Well, that brings us to the intermissions. We've got to drop some spoilers, promote some peoples, and when we come back, we will get to spoiling this thing.
Indeed.
Don't forget that you can download. Don't forget that you can. Don't forget that you can listen to us record the podcast live every Tuesday over on our Facebook page, the Cellcast, our Twitch channel, the Cellcast Gaming, and on YouTube at Cellcast. Also, don't forget to join our Patreon if you would like to support us monetarily. At $1, you'll get our everlasting thanks. At our $5 tier, you can get some artwork from Jacob, and at our $10 tier, you can get bloopers for every episode we've released that I've remembered to release them for, and you can get commentaries from different movies. So come check us out over there if you would like to support us financially. This podcast is part of the Culture Box Media Network. For more great content like this, please check out the link in the description. There you can find other great shows, such as The Untold Podcast, which is a speculative fiction podcast utilizing the genres of sci-fi, fantasy, and horror, among others, in order to engage the culture's imagination from a Christian worldview. Every month, Nathan James Norman produces and narrates a new story presented in a unique and dynamic way. You can check out their podcast at untoldpodcast.com. Also, we are a part of Pop Americana, where you can enjoy other shows like Franchise Fatigue. Do you like movies? Of course you do. I bet you even like big movie franchises like Star Wars, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and Indiana Jones. And obviously, since you listen to us, you must like listening to movie reviews. But what if I were to tell you there is a podcast that reviews film series one movie at a time? You like that? Well, then go check out the Franchise Fatigue podcast over on your favorite podcast catcher and listen to James and Gabe give an in-depth analysis and review on every movie in your favorite franchise. Okay. Let's look at these clips.
Oh no.
Unfortunately, I can't show it to y'all, but actually, hang on. I might be able to.
Can you?
Screen.
Oh, you can.
Yes.
Ooh, fun. Now, granted, I'm out of the shot.
Oh, you'll survive.
Yeah.
And now we can't hear.
There's no audio.
Can y'all hear that? Because I can't hear that. I think I know why. Hang on. Oh, hang on.
Speakers. That might help.
That's probably what it was.
Probably.
Okay.
Has something to do with a country road. With me today is a man who he's found this tomb that he can study to, and it has something to do with a country road. Welcome, Jacob. Maybe. Hang on. Yeah.
Not quite the clip I was
not the
wanting,
clip
but
we were asking, but
I don't worry. I get it later. Now I see me embarrass myself.
Yes. going to get killed because my brain just farted.
Don't you love that? You feel like you get that home and it's like, oh yeah, my best friend who I've known for years. So and so, what's his name again?
I feel so horrible because I can't remember his wife's name.
You just lost 3 points, bro.
Yeah, and that's why this part will definitely get edited. Hopefully, they'll never watch the live version. But I'll admit it. So
Oh, good.
The sad part is, I'm gonna have to send this to him.
Yes.
But then,
You get. Oh no, what is this?
free thoughts.
There again, this is my first time viewing this film. Oh no.
Drew's introduction was called Skate. So good. I'm not the only one screwing up tonight.
Okay, it was only that. Okay. I was like, oh no, what did I do?
okay, that was
All right,
good.
Awesome. Awesome.
Oh,
awesome.
apparently Josh, that y'all couldn't hear that. I am so sorry. I'll have to figure that part out later. I'm
Yes.
still learning stuff. I'm just glad I got video.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and I gotta switch back. There, that's easy enough.
Okay. So can you hear us?
He should be able to hear us.
Yeah,
He
hear
just couldn't
us.
hear
Okay.
the audio because I didn't have it going that way. I can make that happen,
Yeah.
but I hadn't done it yet.
Ah, okay.
And I have to remember to turn that off when we have guests on
Yeah.
because that would double up. Anyway,
Yeah, that would be.
yeah, that's pretty much only nothing big happened in chat during the first part. Jack Cornwall over on Facebook says, glad you're both doing well. All you need is a toilet paper roll, a paper clip, and duct tape.
Oh,
Apparently, he's trying to tell us how to stop global warming.
apparently.
Or at least how MacGyver would do it. Anyway, are you ready to jump into the second part of this?
Missing the bubble gum.
Yes. That's the important part.
Yes, the important part would be the bubble gum, or the paperclip.
That too.
Yes.
Okay. So before we jump into the second part,
Mm-hmm.
I need you to come in with me on the chorus. You'll understand what I mean when I
Okay.
get going.
Okay, gotcha.
That's all I'm going to tell you.
Okay, gotcha.
You ready?
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Yeah, I probably should have mine up too.
Yeah, I need to have notes. Hold on. If I know what you're doing, so I need to have exactly.
I tried to get it pre-recorded, but I couldn't get the background and the lyrics to line up in the audio, so I gave up and said, I'll make like famous guy who yelled and screamed about doing it live.
Okay, I have no idea who that.
Bill O'Reilly.
Oh.
I said, we'll make like Bill O'Reilly and do it live.
Oh, okay.
You don't know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do know who you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
I gotcha. All right, so the chorus.
Yes.
Okay, good. Got it.
Okay.
Get it. Got it. Good.
The following is a spoiler-filled review for Whispers of the Heart. If you haven't seen it yet, you ought to turn us off now and come back after you have watched the movie Country Roads. Take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama. Take me home, Country Roads. We almost stayed in harmony the whole time.
Almost. Right on.
All right.
I can have harmony
Every once in a while.
every once in a while. I don't sound like a strangled cat.
Whispers of the Heart was directed by Yoshifumi Kondo. The only other two things he was directed was two little shorts, one called The Sky-Colored Seed and Little Nemo Pilot. This was the first and only movie that he directed because sadly in 1998 he died of a ruptured aneurysm at the age of 47.
Oh, jeez.
He was considered to be, he was being groomed almost as the successor to Hayao Miyazaki for the company.
Wow.
That's how much they thought of this guy, which makes sense since Miyazaki actually wrote this
did.
movie.
He did.
And the English version was written by Cindy Davis and Donald H. Hewitt,
I recognize
who
those names.
also wrote The Cat Returns.
Makes sense.
Getting into the cast, we've got Brittany Snow, who was the voice of Shizuku Tsukishima, and in the movie Pitch Perfect, she played Chloe. I do not know who that is because I've never watched Pitch Perfect.
Me either.
That was the biggest thing I saw on hers. David Gallagher was the voice of Seiji Amasawa, and in the movie Super 8, he played Donnie.
Okay.
James Sicking was the voice of Seiya Tsukishima. That's the father.
Okay.
And he was the captain. He was Captain Styles of the Starship Excelsior in Star Trek III: The Search for Spock.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
This ship that gets blown up really fast.
but it doesn't get blown up in that movie. It never gets blown up, actually.
Oh, never mind. I feel stupid.
Scotty just clogs up the plumbing so it
Oh,
can't go
okay.
into
Wrong-
Transwarp Drive when
wrong-
Kirk steals
wrong
the Enterprise.
Wrong ship.
Yes, definitely the wrong ship.
I was thinking more of the science ship that go boom in the beginning.
Yeah, that's a
of the film.
different ship.
Yes, it is. Never mind.
All right. Gene Smart was the voice of Asako Tsukishima. And in Kim Possible, she was the voice of Dr. Ann Possible. I was expecting more of a reaction, but he got distracted by his phone.
Of course.
Did you even hear what I said?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
Ashley Tisdale was the voice of Yuko Harada.
Yeah.
And she was the voice of Candace Flynn in Phineas and Ferb,
Yeah, she was.
along with Sharpay in High School Musical.
Yeah, she had a fairly
Was-
good run.
And wasn't she in your favorite show, Hannah Montana?
she was in one episode.
Oh,
A
okay.
crossover, actually.
That's probably why I didn't pay that close attention to it when I was doing my notes.
If anybody gets this.
Anyway, there's a Disney Channel horse show.
No. Nope. Nope.
Okay, I don't even know what you're talking about.
You should know.
I probably should, but I don't.
Something about hooves.
I know she was not in that. If I'm thinking what you're thinking,
Yes.
I'll be double checking stuff.
You never know because people are.
Harold Gould was the voice of Shiro Nishi, and in the movie The Sting, he played Kid Twist. I've not seen The Sting.
I've never heard of it.
It's a fairly old movie. It was a fairly big movie. It was like I think it won some Academy Awards.
Kid Twist?
No, The Sting.
Oh, the
He played Kid Twist in The Sting.
Okay.
Who I don't even know if that's a big character, but anyway.
No, the Sting, yes.
Okay. Courtney Thorne was Courtney Thorne Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Let me start that over again. Sorry, the extra hyphen screwed me up.
Ah.
Courtney Thorne Smith was the voice of Shiho Tsukishima, and in the the TV show, According to Jim, she played Cheryl,
Okay.
which was the wife. I had to look that up. Martin Spangers was the voice of Sugimura, and he played Randy Randinger in something called The Comebacks.
Mm.
Mike Burum was the voice of Kinuyo, and he played she played a character named Micah in something called Hollywood.con.
I've heard of a movie like that.
It's apparently coming out this year.
Okay.
It looks bad.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Last and most certainly not least, Carrie Elways
Mm-hmm.
was the voice of the Baron, and he is most famous for playing Wesley in The Princess Bride.
As you wish.
and Robin Hood in Robin Hood Men in Tights.
I still haven't seen it. I own it, but I haven't watched it yet.
Anyway, there's quite a number of Kingdom Hearts connections in this one.
So before that, I did notice that.
Okay, hang on
in
then.
our chat.
If you're gonna back me up, you gotta let me cut myself out.
Okay, gotcha. My apologies. So I just noticed that in the chat.
One of the chats.
That Josh had pointed out that Ash Tito's was also in the life of
The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody.
Thank you.
That's probably the crossover with
exactly with
Hannah Montana.
All right, so yeah,
All right.
wanted to point that out.
So there's quite a number of Kingdom Hearts connections in this one. A couple of big ones.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to start low to high.
Okay.
Bradley Pierce was a high school student in this and was additional voices in Kingdom Hearts. D. Bradley Baker was additional voices in this, and he played Waka in Kingdom Hearts.
Waka waka.
A.J. Buckley was a high school student in this and was additional voices in Kingdom Hearts. Brittany Snow, who played Shizuku, voices Naminé in Kingdom Hearts. You don't know who that is yet.
The name sounds really familiar.
Oh, you should, from our first year on our lost episode when I was trying to untangle everything because I brought her up.
You did. That's right.
But you don't know who that is yet.
No, I.
One day we will get back to the Kingdom Hearts streams
Yes.
and you'll learn. Yes, Josh. Thank Naminé.
Yeah, and I don't know if we'll ever release that lost episode or not.
I don't know if I still have that lost episode.
We'll have to redo it then. That was interesting.
Maybe. Anyway, last and most certainly not least in our Kingdom Hearts connections, David Gallagher, who voiced Seiji in this, is Riku in Kingdom Hearts.
Really?
Yes.
I know who Riku is.
Yeah, I know you know who Riku is. That's why I saved him for last.
Exactly.
Anyway, what do we got in info and stuff?
All right, so info and stuff. All right, so you can watch Whispers of the Heart on HBO Max. You subscribe to HBO Max. On IMDb, it has a score of 7.9 out of 10. Production was Studio Ghibli, obviously. Distribution was by Toho. And its American distributions was originally the Walt Disney Company until it was redistributed by G Kids most recently, which is the version you have up here. Release date, it was released in Japan on July 15th, 1995. On March 7th of 2006, it was released and dubbed in English in America. Box office, I could not find anything regarding the Japanese release because most of them they do have releases for movie theater releases.
Yes, but they don't always post the
No, they
the
don't.
takings from it. A lot of times, if they do post something, it's in tickets
That is
sold,
true.
not in the money they made.
That is true. All right, so it's U.S. and Canada gross was $498,000, and its world gross wasn't that much more. It was $585,000. There again, these are limited releases, so
Mhm.
they don't generate a whole lot of revenue. All right, so home release. Whispers of the Heart was released in Japan. July 15th, 1995. The first video in the country to use Dolby Digital sound format. It was released on VHS and Laserdisc on July 1996, and VHS later the reissue of Bona Vista Home Entertainment Japan in July 25th, 1997, and they later saw a DVD release on May 24th, 2002. Unlike other Ghibli films in the country, this one had not been reissued or remastered in the said country. In 2011, Walt Disney Studio Japan released the movie on Blu-ray. Whispers of the Heart. Here comes the U.S. release.
Mm-hmm.
Whispers of the Heart was released in Japan in 2000. Did I just copy that over? Yes,
Sounds like it. You
Yes,
did.
I did. Yes, I
Okay.
did. My bad. The English dub of this film was produced by Walt Disney Pictures in 2003, but it wasn't released until March 7th, 2006, when it came out on DVD. Turner Classic Movies televised both the dub and subbed versions on July 9th, 2006. The North American Blu-ray was released by Walt Disney Studio Home Entertainment May 22nd, 2012, alongside Castle in the Sky in the Secret World and Ariana
Secret World of Arietti.
Arietti. I almost got it right.
It's the one you gave me the poster for that I never had a
I-
chance to hang up.
That is true. G Kids reissued the film on Blu-ray and DVD in July 16, 2018, under the new deal with Studio Ghibli. And its sequel, it has a prequel, and we will review it, and it is an amazing film, as we both said. The Cat Returns. So, yeah, that came out in 2005?
I believe so.
Yeah.
It was the first movie after this one
Mm-hmm.
that was directed by somebody besides Miyazaki and or Takahata.
Mm-hmm.
Every movie in between there was voiced by them. And this movie actually, Whispers of the Heart, actually caused Miyazaki to go into his first retirement.
Really?
Yeah, not because of this movie, but because the director
Mm-hmm.
passed. That shook
That
him
was-
the much he retired, but then came back later for Princess Mononoke.
That makes sense. And also, if memory serves, the reason the movie had been released.
The reason there's a 3-year gap between when they did the dub and it was released was because of the copyright issues with the song Country Roads, which is featured prominently in the film, which is why we sang it. And it took them a while to get that cleared up enough where they could use it here. Because they do it's not just that they had to get John Denver's permission or you also had to get Olivia Newton-John's permission because it's her version that starts it.
Yeah, they did.
And then they just sing like 30 different versions throughout the whole film.
They did.
It's like, I get what you're doing, but this is just weird.
Agreed. Anyway,
getting into the summary for this film. Shizuku Tsukishima is a 14-year-old girl who attends Mukai Hara Junior High School, where she is best friends with Yuko Harada. She lives in a Tokyo suburb with her parents Asako, Seiya, and older sister Shiho, and is keen on books. One summer evening, she looks through the checkout cards at her library books and discovers they were all checked out previously by someone named Seiji Amasawa. Shizuku meets Yuko at the school and reveals her rendering of Take Me Home Country Roads she was working on for the school graduation, including a mockery named Concrete Roads. Yuko reveals that she has a crush on a boy named Sugimura who happens to be Shizuku's friend. Yuko and Shizuku walk home when she realizes she left her book at the school. She runs back to discover a boy reading her book while teasing her rendering of Concrete Roads, a set of original lyrics describing Tama Newtown, which, if you remember, was the setting of Pompoko, that Shizuku based on the song. The boy tells her how corny her lyrics are, which leaves her feeling irritable for the rest of the evening. The next day, while on her way to the library, Shizuku encounters a cat commuting on the train and follows it to discover an antique shop run by Shiro Nishi. In the shop, there's a cat statuette nicknamed the Baron, as well as a centuries-old antique clock. Realizing she's late for the library, Shizuku runs out, feeling ecstatic about finding a place where stories begin, only to run into the boy she had met the previous day, who returns her lunchbox she left behind. He comments on how much food is in the box and rides away, singing her song, leaving Shizuku in another foul mood. When school restarts, Yuko is devastated when Sugimura asks her to reply to a love letter his teammate sent. Shizuku confronts Sugimura and scolds him for his actions, only for him to reveal he had a crush on her. However, she rejects him in order to not hurt Yuko. Shizuku leaves feeling leveled. Feeling disconsolate, Shizuku decides to head to the antique shop, meeting the boy once more. He shows her the workshop, where she discovers that he is learning to make violins to pursue his dream of becoming a master luthier. She begs him to play the violin for her, but he agrees on the condition that she sings along. The pair perform Country Roads. The boy is revealed to be Seiji, Nishi's grandson, and Shizuku and Seiji finally befriend each other. Seiji admits that he admires Shizuku's talents and reveals his dream to become a luthier, as well as his efforts of checking out a large number of books in the hopes that she would eventually notice him. Days later, Seiji leaves for Cremona, Italy for a 2-month study with a master violin maker. Inspired by Seiji, Shizuku decides to pursue her skill for writing seriously in the same 2 months. She asks Nishi if she can write a story featuring the Baron, to which Nishi grants his consent in exchange for being the first to read her story. Shizuku concocts a fantasy story featuring herself as the protagonist, the Baron as the male hero looking for his lost love Luis, and the cat from the train, a neighborhood stray who is, among other names, known as Moon and Muta, as the antagonist. Devoting her time to her writing, Shizuku stays up until early in the morning and her school grades drop. She argues with her family over her grades and future, and as she continues to push herself, her anxiety mounts. When her story is complete, Nishi reads it and gives his honest assessment. Shizuku bursts into tears as the stress of the last 2 months turns into relief. Nishi consoles her and tells her the real-life story of the Baron. When he studied in Germany in his youth, he found his first love, a woman named Louise. Nishi discovered the twin statuettes of the Baron and his female companion in a cafe, but as the female one was away for repairs, the shopkeeper would only allow Nishi to buy the Baron if Louise agreed to hold on to its companion so they could be reunited. However, the two lovers and their cat statues were separated during World War II. In the original Japanese script, Shizuku never knew of the truth of the Baron's origin or of Louise, and Seiji earlier tells her that his grandfather refuses to speak of it. This makes Shizuku's inclusion of Louise in the story a tremendous coincidence or something else. But in the English dub, Seiji's dialogue has changed and he briefly tells her about Louise. Deciding she needs to learn more about writing and that she wants to attend high school, Shizuku announces to her mother that she will resume studying for her high school entrance exams. Shizuku wakes up early in the morning and sees Seiji outside on his bicycle, having returned a day earlier. In the English dub, Seiji tells Shizuku he decided to finish high school before returning to Cremona to become a luthier, which differs from the Japanese dialogue when she says he will return to Cremona after middle school graduation is planned. Seiji takes Shizuku on his bike to a hidden lookout where they see the sunrise. Seiji professes his love for Shizuku and proposes that they marry in the future. She happily accepts. Shizuku's version of Country Roads plays over the ending credits while daily life in the hometown is observed. Getting into the trivia for this marked the first use by Studio Ghibli of digital composition, meaning that elements of scenes were composed using a computer. In this case, it's the flying scenes with Baron within Shizuku's story. The scene contains a lot of elements moving independently, including the small planets and Shizuku's characters. Although all these elements were animated by traditional means, they were combined using computer technology. The backgrounds, clouds, and flying islands, called Laputas, in the flying sequence were painted by an artist named Naohisa Inoue. He is a former high school art teacher who continued painting pictures of Iblard on his own. When he had his exhibition, he sent an invitation to Hayao Miyazaki since he was a huge fan of Miyazaki's animes. Of course, he didn't expect anything, but Miyazaki showed up and he bought one painting, which is now on the wall of the cafeteria at Ghibli. The painting is called Upward Draft and looks exactly like the fantasy scene in the film. When Miyazaki asked him, "Can you work on our next film?" Inoue also worked in this film as a voice actor. He is one of Mr. Nishi's friends who joins the Country Roads jam session. Specifically, he's the tall one.
Really?
Yeah. When Shizuku is looking for a new book to read in the library, you can see on the bookshelf a book called Totoro. Country Roads at the beginning was sung by Olivia Newton-John. The version which Shizuku sang throughout the movie and at the end were sung by Yoko Hano, the voice actress for Shizuku.
Really?
Yes. On the pendulum, with the mechanical dwarfs, you can read Porco Rosso on the clock face, which is, of course, a reference to Porco Rosso, and of which the director Yoshifumi Kondo worked as an animator.
Really?
Yes. During the filming for Kiki's Delivery Service, there was concern that the name of the film, along with the character Gigi, a black cat, would create a trademark conflict with Kuroneko Tabi Uben, which is Black Cat Express Delivery. Kuroneko Tabi Uben is like UPS or FedEx in the US and has a black cat as its logo. A compromise was reached when Kuroneko Takiuben agreed to act as a sponsor for the film. In Whispers of the Heart, set in 1990s Japan, features cameos by several of Kuroneko Tabiuben's distinctive green and tan delivery trucks, including a shot of one in traffic early on when Shizuku arrives at school. When she and Yuko are walking from school and during the closing credits, where the logo is clearly visible. And there's probably many others in background shots. Miyazaki, who was the screenwriter for this one, wanted the ending shown to be sappier. He said, "Why am I proposing this film is because no matter how hard middle-aged men try to point out the naivete and fragility of such dreaming, we can never deny the longing for an encounter with the opposite sex, so wholesomely and honestly as depicted in the original story." As this is actually based on a one-shot manga,
I heard that.
which I did not get the name written down for. My apologies. Anyway, that brings us to the end of the trivia. Jacob, this was your first viewing. What was your first like for this film?
My first like is the detail and depth they do with the. We go down to my likes. All right, my first like would be the lighting and shadows that are like just abundant in this film. Not like the shadow behind me if you're watching us live. Yeah, that's unfair. Totally unfair. Yeah, so be like you have like casting on characters, and obviously this is all done traditionally.
Yes.
So the animators are tracking, like having to track the characters along with.
Lean in to the microphone a little.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Josh was saying he was having a hard time hearing you.
Okay.
So hang on.
Gotcha. Yeah, I got. So my first like in this movie is the light and shadows of this film. It is done tremendously well. You have it's not like the shadow behind me if you're watching us live, but this is where the artist is, because there again this is traditional animation, and you have the character, and also you're doing the lighting. So if I remember correctly, those are two different elements that are done traditionally. Or if they're done,
It's kind of, it depends. A lot of times it is baked in.
Yeah.
Because of the it's not like 3D animation where there was for a long time baked in and then they moved it to being a separate process.
Right.
Where the computer kind of did the lighting. In this, I think it's still kind of baked in because that's the only way you could really do the shot. But then there are some light effects that work that differently. So anyway.
I agree, and definitely with this film, it looks like the animation and the lighting are done at the exact same time because that's kind of how you did it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just done beautifully because you have so many scenes where our main character, how do you pronounce your name again?
Shizuku,
where you'll have her running across, or she's going under trees, and you see the reflection of the light bouncing off or like coming through the tree, and so you get this great contrast of Suzuku and the light going through the tree, just very beautiful.
mm-hmm.
And just the use of shadows, the use of light in this movie is just tremendously well done. And yeah, just I love the. That's a weird place to start, but it's the shadows and the lighting effects. It's very traditional lighting and shadow effects for an animated film or a hand-drawn animated film,
Mm-hmm.
which I just loved it. It was so great. It's just love watching that kind of detail in films. So what's your number one?
My first like is that this is a down-to-earth love story.
Agreed.
Unlike the previous Studio Ghibli love story that we talked about last year,
Ocean Waves.
yeah. Um,
Actual likable character.
this one I feel that one still kind of felt a little. I'm not going to say fake per se, but that one was still kind of not. That there was still some fantasy element to it.
Agreed.
This is like very real. I mean, every moment of this relationship I can see happening
Yeah.
as being real, and there is the only fantastical elements are when we're actually in the Baron story, but for the most part, the rest of it is all. I mean, you almost could do that live action and there be no change, other than it may not be as pretty, in my opinion. But
Got it.
I love that it's just it's since they weren't having to punch up, all the fantasy sequences and stuff,
Mhm.
and were able to just focus in on it. They got to be really detailed on making the Tama Hills of Japan look so beautiful and focus in on the story. Everything worked to give you the belief that
Mm.
these two people are in love
Yeah.
by the end of it,
Yeah.
to the point where it's like you at the end when he's trying to when they're working their way up that hill. It's like,
Yeah.
you could both walk if you would both not be hard-headed about it.
Yeah.
But yet I can see this because
Determination.
yes, but at the same time it's like I like how these characters actually do feel like they're in love. Both characters
Yes.
feel like they're in love with each other,
Agreed.
unlike in Ocean Waves. You curious? Go check that episode out.
Mhm.
But I really enjoyed how this one handled it. It's a sweet story, and it like Miyazaki said, it is has a very sappy ending.
Mhm.
But
Agreed.
I can appreciate a sappy ending like
Yeah.
this. Part of the reason, well, we've talked about some other movies that were love stories that they didn't quite end this sappy, that I kind of wanted to end this sappy.
Mhm.
Namely, Your Name, where I was sitting there going, just say the freaking name! Run towards each other,
Sure.
kiss, do something! But no.
Embrace cheesiness.
Yes.
Exactly.
But no, this one we get more of that, to where it actually ends on the kiss. It's all leading to that kiss there at the very end, to the point where it's like, yeah, we got to the kiss, roll credits.
Yep. Good job.
It's like, part of me wants to see more, but part's like, yeah, you finished the story here. This is what everything was leading to.
Mhm.
You literally held the climax until the last second, and I appreciate that.
That is good.
I really appreciate that, because this movie didn't need falling action, in my opinion.
Yeah.
but-
Really good storytelling.
I really enjoyed the down-to-earth love story of this film. It felt real. I could see this. There was some romanticism to this story,
Mhm.
but I really felt like this is something I could see happening.
Okay.
So yeah, my first like is that it's a down-to-earth love story. What's
Alright.
your second like?
My second like would actually be the Baron himself, the cat. Now, granted, be like most people say, oh, he's actually a cat. No, he's a
No, he's an anthropomorphic cat,
he's an
statuette,
Statuette.
with anthropomorphic animated sequences
Exactly.
that are in the imagination of Shizuku,
Who- Yes, which are very well done.
to the point where I wanted more of it.
Yes, absolutely.
Which I think is why, my understanding, that is actually why they made the cat returns, because they loved the part with the Baron so much that they wish they had more. That's why they made a second movie.
absolutely.
It's like, yeah, you should have done more of that. I need movie 3 of this trilogy.
Just give us more Baron. That's all we need. More Baron.
Yes.
More Baron all the time.
I need a Studio Ghibli film just called The Baron, because we'd all know who it is.
Yeah, exactly.
And
At
it'd
this
be
point-
about the Baron pretty much being the Ghibli version of Doctor Who, with random Japanese girls being his companions and going off and saving the world from evil cat wizards. Voiced by Tim Curry.
Of course. Of course. Of course.
Anyway,
Yeah, so it's the Baron be like the animation parts are fantastic. Definitely Shizuku's very elaborate imagination of
yes.
her imagination of the Baron and who he is, and Gary Elsway
Yeah, Carrie Elways.
Gary Elsway does a fantastic job as the Baron or the cat. And there again, if you want more of the Baron, go watch The Cat Returns. It's a great film.
And I believe that is actually coming up next year on our
Yes.
on our Ghibli month, but I'll need to double check all that.
Yeah, I will be buying this film anyway.
Oh yeah. Anyway,
Anyways, me glowing over this film.
Well-
glowing over The Cat Returns.
well, the thing is, my number 2 is the Baron's story sequences
Oh, okay, yeah.
because those are some of the most beautiful moments of this movie
Oh,
visually.
Absolutely.
And I like how even though these scenes have no real impact
Right.
on the story itself other than showing her progress in writing the story,
Mhm.
you actually feel like some attachment to all these characters, and
Mm.
to the point where that scene where the Shizuku of the story is in that gem mine and trying to find the right crystal that she needs.
Oh, yeah.
That was actually a very intense thing. I was like, is she going to
Agreed.
find it?
Yeah.
I don't even know what this does. I don't know I don't know what this lapis lazuli is going to do for her, but can she find it? Is she going to
Yeah.
do it? It's like, and then it just goes the other side. It's like, oh yeah, that's not what this movie's about.
No, it's not.
But it's like, oh, okay, I understand. Did she find the lapis lazuli? I want to know that. I assume she did. That movie,
One would hope.
that story had to have a
Horror
happy
story.
ending.
Yeah.
But
Horror story. Thank you very much.
that story is not the point of this story. But they are so beautiful. It's like I just love the look of everything.
Mhm.
Because you go from this kind of, it's not a drab Tokyo, it's a
No.
very light and colorful one.
Right.
But you go from this light and colorful normal world to it's like turning on in the HDR image on Photoshop and turning the vibrancy all the way up. It's like, it's so pretty.
And I can't see.
I'm blind, but I love it. It's pretty.
All right, this game's pretty.
Yeah, pretty. But and then you go back and it's like, oh, this is still pretty, but it's not as pretty. I know that sounds weird, but
Right.
that's what it is.
Understandable.
Yeah. But I enjoyed those sequences so much because it really this is one of the only movie I think we have in all of Studio Ghibli, outside of maybe The Cat Returns,
Yeah.
in which you have the real world and you have a fantasy world,
Right.
and they're in the same movie and they're distinctive enough. It's like, I like both of these. I don't feel like I'm at a loss for either one of these moments.
Mhm.
At the same time, I want more.
Agreed.
I want more. Anyway, that's my second like. What's your third like?
All right, so kind of bouncing off yours, like going back to my second for just 1 second.
Actually, before you do that, welcome, Geek Devotions Raid.
Awesome.
We
Thanks,
got 4 of them in there. Welcome, Noel. Yes, we are reviewing the Studio Ghibli film Whispers of the Heart, the quite beautiful film, but ultimately a disappointing film once you see The Cat Returns.
Indeed.
But technically prequel to The Cat Returns.
Mhm.
Also technically not, but spin-offs.
Yeah.
It's great.
Spin-off, sequels,
So yeah, we're in the middle of that. We are actually in the middle of our likes section for this film. So yes, Geek Devotions, we have done the trivia. I did mention you only got 1 point because you only said the cat.
Yeah. Because there's actually 2 cats in this film.
Yes. But you technically were correct in that it was the cat who returned.
Mm-hmm.
But Cardinal Paladin. That's his.
Cardinal Paladin.
No, I mean that was the second guy, but that's not the name it was that Facebook used.
Oh.
The
Now I'm drawing a blank.
yeah,
Oh wow. Cardinal Paladin. I recognize that name. It's drawing up.
because he's in our stuff a lot too.
He is. He's quite a
He got 5 points because he said the Baron,
Yeah, the
but
Baron.
Josh got 10 points.
We're
Yes,
saying the
David.
whole
David is that guy.
David, thank you.
But Josh got 10 points because he actually said the entire name, which I will not be repeating because I don't want to embarrass myself once again.
Right.
I am keeping up with the points, though, Geek Devotions, so keep that in mind. What those points will go to, I don't know.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun dun. Anyway, you ready to get back to your like?
Yes.
All right. Coming back now.
All right, so bouncing off what you were saying just a minute ago, going into kind of bouncing back into my second like was the idea that the Baron has because we all think of the big grand scene when Carrie Always does the voice for the character, but the figurine of the Baron is so key to this film, even though he's only a little statue. He's only a little statue of a cat, but his presence makes such an impact that it drives Shizuku.
It's not a car.
I know Shizuku. I'm gonna.
It's not a Suzuki.
But it drives our main character to do greater things with her life and wanting to challenge herself with more. And I feel like it's great that you have this one little character who isn't animated only for like 10 minutes of the film that cascades more of the plot and more development of our characters. And I find that more interesting because even though I'm more inclined to be more action-oriented stories and stuff that gets my that excites me more kinetic storytelling. But the storytelling in this movie is so unique that it's grounded and has a lot of fun elements to it that I'm not used to as storytelling. And I just really enjoyed. Definitely, they use a figurine of a cat to compel the story further and further and further, and I just really enjoy that. So that's my second. And you've already said your second.
Yes. So what's your third like?
My third,
which I thought was what we had moved on to.
we had. I just wanted to.
You were you were verifying.
Yeah, I wanted to
clarify.
All right. So my third like was Shizuku.
Close. Shizuku. You mess it up more, I'm gonna mess it up.
Shizuku. It's her journey and a journey in her imagination. That it's the young girl who's in middle school. She's a preteen, and she is wanting to do more with her life, and she's kind of stuck in a rut because she doesn't know what to do. She is a voracious reader, which I wish I was, but I'm getting there. I'm wanting to get into reading more. Anyways, just the guy caught on reading. Anyway, go figure. So it's Shizuku. Am I saying that right?
Yes.
Shizuku. Eventually, I'll say it right. Shizuku. So Shizuku's journey into finding a purpose in her life, or finding a passion that she can really sink her teeth into artistically and imaginary wise, is very beneficial for the character because it becomes her anchor point. Where before she had no real direction or anything, she was going through the motions, and she had parents who weren't really like trying to engage her, which just be like, oh, it's Shizuku, it's just be like, oh, she's being herself, we're not gonna really bother with it. That's one of my dislikes, so I'll get into that later. But she finally finds a passion to do, which is through the Baron, the cat statue. Shizuku just she discovers more of who she is, and the idea of imagination and not now I got stuck. Don't you love that?
Let you get unstuck.
Yeah, let me get unstuck for that 1 second.
Geek Devotion says it's not a car. Jacob goes on to say it drives our main character. I'm getting mixed messages.
Yuck, yuck. Yeah. Okay.
Also, I mentioned that the prize for the thing was a Marvel no prize knockoff
Marvel.
in the chat.
Oh, okay.
You know, where he just sent an empty letter,
Oh,
an empty envelope.
okay. Okay. All right. Got it. All right. So going back into my third, like Shizuku's journey of being a writer, being inspired by the story of the Baron, and ultimately the owner of the Baron's story, and not just simply she finds her drive, she finds her passion,
Mm-hmm.
and not just be like being idle in her life. And there again, being a young person, being a preteen or a tween, is be like it's a struggle enough. It's struggle enough as a young person to find and not get swept up into the trappings of being young and being in middle school and high school. But it's really nice to see because her parents kind of when they realize what's going on is to encourage her in that, and that's like any young person needs that encouragement in their life to just be like, okay, let's explore that and not be dictated by their families. Be like, oh, you're going to be a shoemaker, or you're going to be a lawyer, or you're going to be a doctor. Just be like,
Butcher, baker, candlestick maker. Oh my,
yeah,
or a
exactly.
mime.
Or a mime.
He gets run over all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a callback.
Or he gets run over by his own cart.
Once again, a callback.
Yeah, a callback. So
That would be Wacko's Wish.
yes, Wacko's Wish. I was also referring to Tangled.
That too.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just Shizuku's journey, and I really enjoyed it. And plus, Moon is a really cool cat, even though he doesn't talk. He's kind of a cool cat. Now, granted, he's a lot cooler cat in The Cat Returns.
Oh yeah, that's when he's voiced by Peter Boyle.
Yeah, exactly. It took me the longest time to figure out that was actually Moon. I didn't realize it. It was like, oh, okay, this big chunky cat. Oh, he's white. But in this movie, he's gray.
He also goes by many names.
He goes by many names, and I found that very interesting when I realized watching The Cat Returns, and that there again, not going into spoilers because if you haven't seen the movie, go watch it. It's a good movie. I would definitely be purchasing myself. But there's a big scene where you get to reveal like what his name is, and everybody's, oh my gosh, he's this character. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Moon from The Whispers of the Heart. It's the same character. What the? That was awesome. But yeah, I really enjoyed. So I kind of threw in Moon's. It's like, oh, okay, he's he's also the character from The Cat Returns. So yes, I hope that wasn't too confusing. But yeah, my third like was that. So what's yours?
My third like for this film is this was the most unexpected but well used use of the song Country Roads by John Denver.
Oh, yes.
I knew that song was featured in this movie on the second viewing, but I remember the first time, sitting down at my friend's house and hitting play, and they start playing Country Roads and going, "Is that what song I think it is?" And then not recognizing that was Olivia Newton-John, I thought, do they know what the song is? Do they know what and then it just keeps coming back up and coming back up. It's like, what is up with the use of Country Roads in this movie? Apparently, part of the reason why they did it is because Country Roads is a very popular choice in Japanese karaoke bars when they want to do English music.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So, this is the use of the song fits so well throughout this, even though they changed lyrics throughout the film in order to fit different parts of it. But, and of course, because she was using that as for that graduation thing, it actually showed her writing skills, because rewriting poetry to still fit the meter of the thing where it's parodying it, and technically in a different language than the original one, even though you can't hear that in the English dub. That takes some skill.
That is very good.
It takes a lot of skill to pull that off.
It does.
And even though we are listening to the translation of the parody of an English song, which should be resulting in a bunch of English, it actually comes out pretty well, both for the actual version and for Concrete Roads, which is like, oh, Concrete Roads.
Huh.
I wonder if you had some talks with some raccoons, since this takes place in the same location as our last movie.
I did not feel like when you said that, I did not realize it was the same location.
There was a point in there where I was watching going, I wonder if there are any raccoons in this film.
Yeah, our raccoon.
Because I
dog.
kept an eye out for some tanukis. And they could have been anywhere in this film, and
could
we
have.
never know.
Exactly.
So, for future reference, you ever see something that looks strange or odd in a Studio Ghibli film? It's the Pompoko raccoons.
yeah.
Just,
Exactly.
That's just what it is.
Yeah.
And I kept keeping an eye out for that, and it never happened. But that's not even the point.
Right.
Especially since the country roads were all dug up in the last movie.
True. Very true.
But yeah, this was such a fun little the use of that song I thought fits so perfectly,
It did.
and I'm happy it was there. So yeah, this was definitely the most unexpected but well used version of Country Roads I'd ever heard of.
Mm.
Which brings us to our dislikes.
All right.
What is your first dislike?
There again, this is more of a nitpick. To this
I think we're gonna be running into that a lot.
yeah, just a nitpick. It's a very drawn out story. You know, like it's one of those films that, for a viewer, it's okay. I have to watch this.
Mhm.
And I remember something not there again. It wasn't. They're using contrast. So you have Whispers of the Heart. They're like, I can't remember how long this movie is.
It's about 2
About a
hours.
2-hour film. It feels much longer. It feels like a 2.5, maybe 3-hour film. It's kind of like the original Dune. And not it's bad storytelling or it's trying to compile so much stuff into one movie. It just has this. I'm getting that look from Drew.
I'm wondering why you.
I'm not throwing Dune
Okay,
under the bus.
first off, I'm just gonna say this: the first Dune is trying to cram so much in there. There's no way it was moving slow.
It felt like it was moving slow. To me, it did.
That's because you had no clue what was going on.
Exactly. So the reason I say that, because there again, it's just using comparison for my sake, that like watching Dune, having no context of what's going on, and you having no clue, this movie is just the story to me drags in a lot of ways. Now
Mhm.
it's not a bad drag.
Well, I mean, it kind of. I'm just playing devil's advocate here,
Go
mind
for it.
you.
Go
But
for
to
it.
some degree, the story needs to drag out a little bit because they both need to come of age. And
Agreed.
admittedly, a part of me wanted the movie to start when she started writing the book, because to
Thanks.
me, that's where a lot of the. Admittedly, I'm there for the Baron in a lot of cases.
Oh,
At least watching
you
the
are.
movie, but it feels like we take a long time to get to that point,
Mm-hmm.
and then that point is like a whole nother movie on top of this other hour that's before that, and the movie's only 2 hours long, so
right.
and this one is kind of more of a drawn out thing, but that's just how this director handled it.
Oh, I agree. Be like, do not get me wrong. This is a really good movie. It's a really good movie. Do not get me wrong on that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, to me, it was just.
It does take a while to get where it's going.
It does. It'd be like I think like the first hour, it just takes a long time. There again, good storytelling. It's just the duration of how long they take to tell the story
Mm-hmm.
gets a little tiring. There again, good storytelling. Just a little bit of okay.
It'd been nicer if they'd have been a little more succinct.
Yeah, exactly.
I see what you're saying.
Mhm.
I disagree,
Okay.
but that's
Not a
as far as I'm
There
going to go to
again,
that.
this is a nitpick. This is a nitpick about this film.
Geek Devotions asks, would it have been better if it was treated like a TV series? I don't think that would have worked
No, I don't
for
think
this story.
No. I think if you would have done it probably in 2 films,
Well,
there again you would have gave us more Baron.
yes, that is true, but at the same time, if you tried to separate it, you would have to separate it where she starts writing the story, and that would not be a good ending even
Agreed.
for a cliffhanger ending of
Agreed.
the first half.
Right.
But anyway,
Yeah. Anyways, there again, this is the nitpick about the film.
yeah,
Because you get to
it
find
just
something about
it
the
just
film you don't like.
the problem is for you mainly it drags.
Yeah, it's not they be like it's oh they pull the chute down
Yeah.
and it drags back, but it's more like it's like the chute has been opened, but it's not slowing the story down so much.
It's like when you're on the road and you get stuck behind somebody whose foot is resting on the brake, even though they're going at speed limit.
True.
They are still moving kind of slow, and you can't tell what they're doing
Exactly.
for bits of the film.
Yeah, bits of the film you can't tell where everything's going, but
Yeah, but that's also because we're looking at two teenagers who don't really hate each other at the beginning, but one is very agitated at the other one.
yes,
So it takes a while for them to finally realize, oh, hey, actually, we're in love.
we actually do like each other.
Yeah, we actually can talk to one another and be civil,
Mm-hmm.
and not just have one girl just continuing angry over and over again.
Jerk.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like at some points it does drag a little bit,
Mhm.
but there again, that's a nitpick. I'm not saying this is a bad movie. I'm not.
Yes.
So that is
So to my first nitpick,
go ahead.
the Baron story sequences were not long enough to warrant putting the Baron on the cover of the movie.
Amen.
Now
brother.
I know what this may not be on the cover of the Japanese version. In fact, I suspect it's not. But I suspect the real reason why that scene is on the front of this movie is because The Cat Returns came out first, and they were actually trying to bank on the popularity of the Baron.
That makes sense.
So they put him on the cover. It's like, yeah, this is another story with the Baron.
yeah.
Yeah, he's only in it for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Outside of being a figurine that shows up. Because I mean, there's also that weird point, like when she first gets to the antique store and you see the Baron
Mm-hmm.
sitting on there, and you're going, the Baron's here. The story is starting finally. And you guys, no, the story's been going because the Baron's not actually the story of the movie. So,
Very.
because it's treated like the camera zooms in and you get the beauty shot of the statuette.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they obviously put in a lot more detail into that shot. So you're going,
Mm-hmm.
oh, it's pretty. The story's about to start. No, the story's been going. You're just wanting The Cat Returns Part 2
Exactly.
or Part 1.5. I don't know.
Yeah, give us more cat.
We like the Baron.
Yeah.
As you can tell.
Yeah, just a little
But unfortunately, putting him on the cover of this one, including having Shizuku, even though Shizuku is the main character, and is in front of him on the cover, she's in her fantasy dress from the story part of it.
Mhm.
And so you look at it, and the cover that the movie gives you is not. This is me getting real graphic designing on this.
Mhm.
It is not selling the actual movie. It is selling 10 minutes of the movie. And that's the problem, because in order to actually see a scene from the movie on the book, you have to turn it over. And of course, you get another shot from the 10 minutes with the Baron. And so you're still thinking, oh, it is the actual thing. And then there's 3 little scenes right here of her on the bus
With the cat. With Moon.
with Moon, yeah. Of her singing while playing the fiddle, of him playing the fiddle. Although she kind of looks like she's hypnotized in the shots, the way they freeze framed this, and her getting. I don't remember what she was in where he had to save her before falling off of the retaining wall. I don't remember what that is. And that's what it looks like. I don't know what that shot is. But the 3 shots from the movie itself, that's actually part of the, not just those 10 minutes, are small right here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That is not how you sell this movie.
No, it's not.
I know that the Baron was a popular character. He's popular enough that they made a movie spinoff featuring him. But he is not the main character of this film.
No,
He
he's
should
not.
not be featured as like, this is the story. This looks like the cover of a Doctor Who box set. But that's not what this is. I kind of would like to see that, but that's not what this is. So I'm just annoyed at with him being only in the film for a grand total in full anthropomorphic form
Yeah.
for a grand total of 10 minutes, that is not what this cover is selling you.
Yeah.
And that annoys me.
it's false advertising.
Not completely false advertising. It falls in the loophole,
Yeah, it does.
but this is still not what the movie you're selling. This is that technically right thing,
yeah.
which is the best kind of correct from what I've been told.
Mhm.
But it still annoys me. So yeah, that's my first dislike. Is the Baron's only in it for 10 minutes? Not that the cover would tell you that.
That is true.
What is your second like?
Mine is the exact same. It's like we need more Baron.
We do need more Baron.
Because like there again, going back to my one of my likes, the fact that the Baron, even though he's only animated like anthropomorphically wise for 10 minutes in the film, like his the essence of the character is the focal point once we reach the character. But for me, they should have expanded more into the fantasy world
Mm-hmm.
and given us more of that. And it's
Especially since that's where all the money shots were.
exactly
Except for the one shot of the Baron there when they introduce him, and you're like, ooh, the movie's about to start.
pretty much.
That's the other money shot, and
yeah, exactly.
you could still have that in the story I just described.
Pretty much.
That's what the Cat Returns does.
Exactly. So yes, I'm gonna say we just need more Baron in this
Yeah.
film. I mean, like again, the story between the two preteen loves are the kids that are falling in love with each other.
Mhm.
Let me say that right, and not sound like I'm saying something else. It's just be like it's slightly annoying. Then it's like, okay, we have this amazing character and we only get him for 10 minutes. Why can't we get him for like 30, 45 minutes?
Because that was not the point of the
I
story.
understand that, but we all love the cat.
Yes.
We
yes.
love the Baron,
That's-
so we want more
that-
of the Baron.
That's why they made another movie with the Baron.
Exactly, so give us more movies about the Baron. That's all I'm asking.
Anyway.
Always ask the Baron. That's all we ask.
Yeah. My
Come on, Studio Ghibli, give us more, please.
some of this is Disney and G Kids' fault. Because they're the ones who designed the cover of this
That is
thing.
true. Come on, Disney. Come on, G Kids.
Uh,
Get your act together.
yes. Anyway, that was your second dislike?
Yes. What
Okay,
is-
my second dislike for a story that is very realistic. Man, there's a lot of convenient things that happen in this film.
Mhm.
Because, for one thing, Moon. We all love Moon.
Yes.
He just happened
Mm-hmm.
to be on the train
Yes.
and just happened to get off at her stop and just happened to take her all the way to where the Baron was. And then the Baron's not in the film except for 10 minutes. It's like,
True.
that's convenient, but not convenient in the right way.
Yeah.
Because to me, if she had, because that's the thing, if she'd have just gone to the library and dropped that off, A, you wouldn't have had that part in the story.
Mhm.
B, you wouldn't. They could have still had them meet also, but you saw this whole thing where she meets the Baron, and that's what inspires her to have the story, which gives her the self confidence to
Mhm.
kiss him at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of things that conveniently happen that way, especially when you look back on them in real life.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a part of me going, man, a lot of convenient things happen in
They
this.
did.
Almost as if somebody designed it to happen that way. Almost like, somebody who knew better than the characters actually knew the best way for their story to unfold.
Yeah. Agreed.
Unfortunately, this is also starting to sound a lot like Calvinism. God is sovereign, though. That's the main thing.
Right.
Anyway.
Oh.
But yeah, that's my second dislike.
All right.
Do you have a third?
Yes, I do. Actually.
Okay.
All right. So my third dislike. Come on, notes. Really? All right. Is Suzuku's parents and her sister, what have you. Now, I understand this is a Japanese culture. I do understand that. The idea that you have a daughter who is going through problems and you see that she's not studying, or she's studying, but she's not really studying.
Mm-hmm.
She's just kind of flicking off in life and not having any direction.
And being the inspiration for a YouTube channel about lo-fi hip hop tunes to study by.
Agreed. Even though I didn't realize that until Drew mentioned it.
Yeah.
Either way, so the idea that if say hypothetically, if I was married and had a daughter, the fact to be like you notice things about her that she's changed, not the fact that she's now 11, 12 years old, but more her study habits have changed, her behavior has changed, her grades have obviously dropped. And so the idea that it's more like, okay, I understand you're busy. I understand there again, it's Japanese culture. It's very much push, be the businessman, work until you get dropped dead.
Yeah.
But there's the real notion of being aware of your child's needs and their problems, and not simply shrugging it off. Like one scene where Suzuku has been sitting at her desk all night writing, and her mom comes in, and it's like, "Oh, I didn't know you were in," and instantly starts griping about the I think it was the laundry that had not been done.
Oh, you don't get me started on Shiho. I wanted to smack her upside her head. It's like, she is your sister. I know you have the best thought. You're thinking good for her, but at the same time, can you not tell she's? Could you not act like maybe kind to her?
Yeah,
You're just nagging her every second of the day. It's like,
agree. Yeah, agree. That is very well. It's kind of like how what I understand, because I don't have a big sister. I don't have sisters except for a sister-in-law. So to understand how people who have older sisters or younger sisters, it's like it can be that way. But at the same time, it's this idea that you're not even remotely paying attention to the child who's obviously going through something. There are problems, and neither the father, the mother, especially the sister, do not intervene in those problems. Like, hey, let's have a conversation. And finally, we do have a conversation. There's really no, hey, we care about you. We want to figure out what's going on, and not, oh, just continue to do what you're doing, and eventually you'll figure it out. But like, that's not
helpful.
That's not parenting at all. It's more, oh, just let her do whatever she wants to do, and then she turns into a vagabond and doesn't go to school
because she's too busy writing.
She's too busy writing. And it's just that the parents do not intervene in a...
Or they don't really try to find out what's actually going on.
Exactly.
They have a meeting.
Yeah, they have a meeting.
Say, how important it is to keep your grades up.
Yeah, exactly.
Why? Yeah, it's like, you could ask, what's going on? What's happening?
Yeah, exactly.
You're obviously distracted by something. We want to understand.
Yeah.
Because we love you. And I get the fact that they're, in a way, they are still acting loving towards her.
Right.
Especially via Japanese culture that we are not, and that we are not in.
Yeah.
But you do get the feeling that all four of these people, they have their own agendas. And yes, they do work around each other like a well-oiled machine and working like clockwork. But when something goes wrong, you got to find out what's going on.
Yeah.
And obviously, Shizuku is having an issue.
Yeah.
Where she feels like she has to grow as a person so that she's, I guess, worthy of of Seiji.
Yeah, she's worthy of Seiji. She's worthy of everybody else.
And admittedly, she probably she has felt like throughout most of the movie like she's not
exactly.
She's been lazy. It doesn't help that her parents and her sister keep talking like she's lazy. Also,
yeah,
that's not helpful in the slightest. But anyway, because honestly, she is working hard on all the stuff. Because even when she's not reading, I mean, there's a reason why she was the lo-fi girl.
Yeah, that's true.
For the thing, it's like she's actually in there studying, and you're the one who picked the headphones off and yelled at her for not doing her other chores because she was too busy doing her homework.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm getting mixed messages.
just a bit. It's priorities, people.
Yeah.
I understand. Be like it's a goal oriented culture. It's
And there's
like,
a very
it is-
goal oriented family.
Yeah, pretty much. And would you want to live in an apartment like that? That's all. Be like everything.
I mean,
is
that's
just
smaller
like
than
books.
that's smaller than this apartment.
I agreed, but Jiminies, man.
I also got the feeling there was not enough communication between the
No,
four of
there's
them
not.
for
There's
that to be a
not.
healthy thing. But that once again could be cultural thing that I don't understand.
Yeah, exactly. Be like coming from an American culture standpoint, it's the idea that, like, if your kid's going through problems, it's like, hey, let's talk about this.
Right.
And sometimes it'd be like, it's just you got to let them talk about it and not force it. And yeah.
Anyway.
So it's the lack of communication, the let's dog it our child about this and this and this and not get to the source of the issue, and let's resolve it with, oh, let her do what she wants to do, let her.
Which makes me wonder what the point of y'all having the sit down meeting was.
Exactly.
Other than to make her feel worse.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, great job, parents. You did a really bad job.
Says the two guys who
Yeah.
are not parents.
Exactly.
So
I would hope and prayer that, you know, if I ever have a child or adopt a child or marry into a family that has children, that I would have, you know, that if something like that came up, I would be able to, you know, instruct and be able to guide very with wisdom and discernment in those to what is going on in that child's life, rather than, oh, just let you do whatever you want to do, and then that child is still living in our basement until they're 30. No, thank you. Get out, get a job, and complete high school and go to college. And
I don't think that was actually going to be the issue, but anyway.
I knew that, but it's more
thank you.
Modern American thing. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Either way. So yeah, it's my third, not fourth, third dislike.
You don't have to re-say anything. I'm going to edit around that.
Okay.
Because no one's in the audio version is going to know why you said third, not fourth.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I think of this in two different ways.
I understand.
Anyway, I don't have a third dislike.
Really?
I tried to come up with something.
Really?
But honestly, I can't. The whole way the movie is set up.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I thought, well, this could be a dislike. No, wait, that makes sense because of this thing. So it's like, and it happened over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't have a third dislike. So
Okay,
we
fair
need
enough.
to jump into our rating for this movie.
Agreed. You
Go
first.
I go first. Okay, I am giving this a 8.
Giving it 8.
I'm giving it an 8. It's a nice down. Like I said earlier, it's a nice, realistic,
Agreed.
down to earth love story, and I appreciate that. I love the story, the sequences with the
Yeah.
Baron,
Mhm.
even though I wish they were longer.
Gives more Baron.
That's why there's another movie.
Exactly.
So I appreciate all that, and both of my nitpicks are just like, it could be better, but I can kind of live with it, sort of a thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm giving it an 8 because I think it is actually a legitimately good movie.
And I would completely agree with you. Be like, this has an amazing story. It's definitely unique where it's more down to earth. It has more substance to it that has like real meaning to it, and it's focused around a figure and also two characters who are falling in love with each other. And I would definitely give it an 8. It's got a great heart. It's perfect in its execution in some ways, and then others it's a little bit here or there, but there again, overall it's a great film that people need to watch. Now granted, I have a lot more appreciation for The Cat Returns ever since I watched it.
Boy, we are really building up The Cat Returns
Yes,
for
we
this.
are.
For good
we are.
reason.
I've already ordered. I'm pre-ordered it for Amazon. So yes, I will. We will definitely be reviewing this film. I hope next year.
I believe it's next year.
Okay, so we'll
I'll need to double check, but I think when I looked it up, the Cat Returns
yeah.
is I don't remember if it's right before or right after Spirited Away.
Mm.
Because I know Spirited Away is next year.
Yeah.
But anyway.
We might squeeze it in there. Maybe. Maybe
well,
not. I don't
it
know.
depends on how many Saturdays are in November next
That is
year.
true.
That could make it easier. Anyway,
So yeah, I give it an 8. It's a good movie.
yes.
It's a good movie. It's not my cup of tea. I feel like it's a long-term movie, not long-term, but just it's a good film. It's a good film. Go watch it.
Yes. Once again, I want to read our trivia question for our next episode, which is who wrote the English language version of Princess Mononoke? And of course, we're asking this question because next week we are reviewing Princess Mononoke, the film that caused us to rate Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind lower because we'd already seen Princess Mononoke. Go check out that episode. That's actually a good episode too. Anyway, so yeah, join us next week for that. Do you got anything else before we jump out of here?
No. I will be out of town this coming weekend for a retreat. So yeah, if you guys pray for that, be awesome.
All right. So in the meantime, this has been Drew,
This is Jacob.
and we will catch you in the next frame. Come, Jacob. We must prepare for next week.
Prepare for what, Drew?
The same thing we do every week, Jacob. Record a podcast.
Oh boy.
So where can they find you, Jacob?
You can find me on Facebook at Jacob B. Heron, also on Facebook at Jacob's Daily Art Corner, where I try to draw each and every day. I don't get to it as often as I like, but join me there. Also, you can find me on Instagram at Jacob B. Heron, on Twitter at Jacob Heron, and Letterboxd at Jacob Heron. So where can they find you, Drew?
You can also follow me on Letterboxd at ggeorge759, Facebook as Drew Dodgen, my Facebook page where you can see pictures I've taken at Drew's Photo Bin. You can also follow me on Twitter at ggeorge759.
You can email us at thecellcastpodcast@gmail.com.
You can also follow us on Twitter at cast_cell.
You can follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/thecellcastgaming.
You can also follow us on YouTube at Cellcast,
Listen to our podcast on Apple Podcasts,
Google Play Podcasts,
Stitcher,
Spotify.
and your favorite podcast directory.
You can also listen to us on the Movie of the Week podcast with Jim Heron, where we talk about live action movies. And
No, you
remember, Cell is a single L. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country roads. And that's the end of the episode.
Good job.
Okay, I've got to come up here and read some stuff. First off, during our outro, Geek Devotion says, we can find Jacob in his home when he's asleep. To which Josh says, shh, don't give it away. Geek Devotion says to Josh, see you there for the sacrifice. I mean viewing.
Help!
Josh says, I'll bring the charcoal. I mean chips. Are you sure you want to go on that camp out this week?
At least they don't know where I'm going.
I bet I know someone who'll gladly tell them.
Probably in a second. Oh my gosh.
All right, I do want to jump up here because Geek Devotions posted an epic post up here
Okay.
in response to my Whispers of the Heart DVD cover issue.
Okay.
It's like having Morgan Freeman being the biggest thing on your cover, but he's only in the film for 2 minutes, and then you have angry customers demand a refund because it was a terrible film and felt tricked into renting it, and then your manager isn't around because she's on her 29th smoke break, and so you're trying to defuse the situation without saying, look, you rented it, deal with Oh, it's PSD anxiety increases from when he worked at a movie rental store.
Oh.
Are you okay, Geek Devotions?
Wow.
Are you having some stress?
What movie was that?
I am curious of that
Yeah,
myself.
what movie was that, Dallas?
Geek Devotion says, hot dogs. In referring to your camp out.
Yeah, no, I'm not telling you where I'm going, Josh.
I don't even know where you're
No,
going,
he doesn't.
but I know someone who does. I might see him Thursday.
You probably will. And if you tell these people where I'm going, I might kill you. Not really.
Trivia for next week's episode. Where did Jacob go camping? Do the hills still have eyes?
Apparently.
See, it's probably in Texas, so that might be a Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh no, don't even start, please. With the people I'm going with? Hoi.
I know what you did last winter. Anyway. Oh, yeah, Geek
Wow.
Devotion says he went down the country road.
Who knows, there might be a country road at some point where we're going.
Anyway, that does bring us to the end of this
And
episode.
please take me home. Be like, when I get done with this.
I'm not taking you home.
Oh, please no. Heck no. No way in earth.
I'm gonna.
That joke's going nowhere.
Yes, I'm gonna end the podcast first for Facebook and then YouTube, and then I'll find someone for Twitch to raid.
There we go.
So ending that video. Ending. Where'd it go? Oh, in that video.